Welcome back, PetaPixel viewers. It is Chris Nicolls here, and today we're looking at the brand new Nikkor 50mm f1.4. It is a pre-production lens. There's only so much we can talk about it, so much we can test, but I think we can still give you a really good quick look and a heads up on this exciting new lens. Now, today's episode is going to be a little bit different. You might have noticed that we're driving in the car today. We're actually shooting an episode from largely the car. That's because Jordan had a really bad accident. He really hurt his foot, twisted his ankle really badly. So I'm going to drive him around and be the chauffeur today. And as well, we're going to look for shots while we're moving around on the road and then stop the car. Jordan's going to film me. He'll hobble over and I'll run out and get my shots. So it's going to be an exciting and kind of different video here today. Let's get to it. You know, back when I started on a Nikon FE way back in the day, prime lenses were the ticket. That was your main tool. 50mm 1.8 came on every single camera, and I had a lot of really nice primes, but I did spend just a little bit extra money to get those 1.4 primes, the 35 1.4, the 50mm 1.4. They weren't that much more expensive, and they gave you the extra light, but there was usually a compromise when it came to optical quality, absolutely. But it's interesting because you come to modern day, looking at the Nikkor Z mount, and we don't have any 1.4 primes. I mean, not until recently. Nikon started out with a 50mm 1.8 S series lens, which is optically fantastic, but actually more expensive than this lens. I mean, Nikon's only recently released the 35mm 1.4 prime lens, which is very affordable. We played with that a little bit. Very interesting lens. Now we have the 50mm 1.4 here to look at as well. And so this is a really nice move from Nikon, providing affordable prime lenses that get you lots of light. Okay, so let's talk about the handling on this lens here. So nice little compact design. It's gonna be a little bit bigger because of the 1.4 aperture. So we get a 62mm filter thread there in the front. Nice little twist on, twist off lens hood there. Big manual focus ring and a control ring. You know, at this price, we're not getting a whole bunch of other customizable buttons or anything like that, but I didn't expect it. But I can certainly set up this control ring to do aperture if I wanna have that experience right there on the lens. I wouldn't take this out into like the roughest weather conditions, but it certainly has that rubber seal along the lens mount there just to keep dust and stuff like that out. This is a very lightweight, easy to carry lens, 420 grams, under a quarter of a knock. Wow! Yes, and of course this lens also does give you STM motors at this price. Again, that's to be expected, but the lens elements aren't heavy, so I'm finding the autofocus is nice and snappy going from near to far. So this lens does macro capability at 0.15 times magnification, which is not amazing, but I mean, frankly, 50mm the prime lenses are not macro lenses by any stretch, but you know, I can see here, I can still get pretty close. You guys can see that's my minimum right there on this flower. Not bad. Okay, so one of the beautiful things about a 50mm 1.4 is you can get very shallow depth of field, and I want to take a look at bokeh here, and again, we're not fully analyzing it, but you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and fully analyze it because I've taken shots here in the Cold Garden Brewery and I can see really nice lights in the background, and the bokeh actually looks surprisingly beautiful. So shooting at 1.4, you can see here, look at that nice swirly cat's eye effect. I really like that, but also the specular highlights when stopped down still stay nice and round. No onion rings at all. We're not even getting a strong soap bubble effect at all. So really smooth looking bokeh, and I can already tell from the photos I've taken, just like transitions from in focus to out of focus, really smooth, nice and soft. Backgrounds look understated and soft, nice blur for portraits. I think it's really nice for bokeh. So of course, one of the big questions that we're gonna have here is, will this lens be sharp, wide open at that 1.4 aperture? Because we're gonna wanna shoot there quite a bit on a lens like this. And again, that is beyond the scope of what we can test here today. We're not gonna be looking at test charts or anything, but I'm gonna go out on a limb and just say, from what I've seen from the samples I've taken, I think it's plenty sharp at 1.4. We're getting lots of good detail here. I think I'd happily shoot this at 1.4 all the time, and I'm certainly gonna test that fully when we have a production model. All right, guys, well, that's it. I mean, I know there's only so much we can talk about with pre-production lenses, but even when you play with an early lens like this, you can get a pretty good feel for what it's going to be like. And I definitely have a few takeaways. I mean, I'm absolutely eager to play with a production model because I want to test things like flare control, Bokeh, all that kind of, proper sharpness tests and stuff. But at the same time, the things that I was worried about, expecting that the low price would hurt the bokeh or the sharpness, I think it's actually really good. I can already tell from the images I've taken, the bokeh appears nice. I think it's a sharp lens, even wide open. And so this really is a pleasant surprise considering how low a price point it is. Regardless, I think it's a really smart move that Nikon is now dedicating themselves to making some of these f1.4 primes. And so I absolutely want to test these further. And I'm sure you guys want to see that too. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That way you won't miss our full review of this lens. Leave your comments below. You know we always love to get that feedback. And do check out the PetaPixel podcast. It's on this exact same channel, or you can listen to it on all your favorite podcasting apps. Check out our merch store as well, store.petapixel.com, and get a new t-shirt or hoodie today. We've just revamped that as well, so you're going to definitely want to check that out. And as always, we appreciate you joining us for our videos. We'll see you soon with more on PetaPixel.